Hi guys, and welcome
to an episode of YoKhalipha.
So this week we're doing something that we've never done before. We're giving y'all 5 episodes over 5 days. 1 episode every single day from today till the 5 days is over.
Because we can't really tell you when, because we don't even know when. So.
But the point of the matter is that this week is dedicated to understanding finances and understanding how we're spending our money, how we need to be saving our money, what we should be doing, taxes, credit record building, ban. You would have seen on Twitter and Facebook that we asked you guys what exactly it is that you guys want to understand, want to learn. So we wanted to offer, this is an offering in terms of getting the tips and tricks. We have an amazing lady called Sam who's coming in to give us the keys. So hopefully we'll be able to, take down our notes and walk away with at least one thing. I think the reason for this was just, we're all going through financial things, and a lot of us are starting work soon if you're from varsity. A lot of us are thinking about working if you're deep within the varsity things, and some of us are in the cracks of the lion, whale, jungle of working. So we're in it. So we just need to understand what should we be doing when it comes to money. And Sam is here to give us the keys. She's worked extensively in this industry as far as finance. She's writing a book. So really she worked with 24/7. I'm an answer now, and I just want to know what's up because I'm tired of wasting money. Ask your questions, comments in the section. She's going to be there to follow up on everything. Subscribe, watch, comment, share, like, and here we go.
So, my name is Sandberg Basinger. Hi. I have a bit of a cold, so I have a very croaky voice. I spent the last 10 years basically on a mission to help people get better at managing their money. And it's been a lot about my own journey out of, getting myself out of the deep hole that I was in and trying to figure out how does money work and how can I be more in control of it and therefore more in control of my life. So I helped for many years work on a really cool local app called 24/7. It's a free app that helps people manage their money. I now run a financial technology business called Phantom Design. And I have a book coming out next year called Manage Your Money Like a Fucking Grown-Up. Am I allowed to say fucking?
Yes.
Okay, alright. Which should be hitting the shelves in March. So I'm really passionate about this thing I feel like as young people, no one taught us how to manage our money. I feel like no one taught me, and I'm still angry about that. And I'm like trying to fix this problem. Yeah.
What is too small, what is too big to start saving with? Like if I start saving R1 every month, like is that like too small, or is it like 100, like a lot of money? I just want to know like saving in general, like what am I doing? What's the vibe?
Okay, so the first thing I want to say when we talk about saving is, if you think about how much money is going to go through your hands, pass through your hands over your working lifetime, it's probably much more money than you think it is. Like if you just sit down for a minute and think, this is what I earn every year, multiply that by 45 years maybe, and just try and imagine and visualize that pile of money. Like imagine like Scrooge McDuck, like swimming around in it, right? It's probably more money than you think it is. So as an example, if you start out at age 25 and you earn 10,000 Rand, right? Pretty normal salary, right? And you just get an inflation 6% increase every working year. By the time you are 31 years old, you've earned your first million. You've earned it, right? Now think about that. That's R1 million that's been paid to you, and you've probably paid it immediately to other companies. Now saving is about how much of that money that passes through your hand you're going to keep for yourself. And that money can be used to liberate you, basically. It's money that like you can put and get it to make more money, so that you're no longer in the position where the only way you can make money is through a paycheck. You can free yourself from that trap because paychecks aren't always going to be there. So definitely we're all going to hopefully reach the ripe old age where they definitely won't be. So that's the first thing to think about. So saving is basically refers to how much of the money that comes to us do we not spend? Do we put it away? Now, whether we're saving for something short-term or long-term, it's still saving, right? So that behavior of what do we not spend, that difference between the money we earn and the money we keep, that's what I mean when I talk about saving. Now, one of the also really important things to think about when you think about savings is this amazing idea of compound interest, which is, I think we all we sort of understand, but we don't often sit down and think about how powerful compound interest is. So if you save for your retirement, right? If you start saving when you're 25 and you save for just 5 years until you're 30, and you save, I don't know, 1,000 Rand a month, okay? And then you never save for your retirement again. You just save for those 5 years and you invest that money well. Compare that person to someone who starts saving for their retirement when they're 30 and saves until they retire. Who has more money? Like, actually the person who saved just for 5 years when they were 25.
How?
Compound interest, guys. It's like the most magical thing. Basically the thing is with money, is the younger you can start saving, the more that money will compound, right? Because the money is doubling and doubling and doubling. So it grows faster than you can imagine if the timeline is long. So that's the most important thing about money, is the longer you can save it and leave it, the bigger it will be. That's where wealth comes from. Wealth comes from time, from saving and then leaving it alone. So this is why, like, it is so important for young people, even if you can't afford much, to start saving early. And rather save a little bit earlier than save a lot later. Like, rather get it right now. And just invest that money. So, and getting into those habits early is also really, really important, because there's also this thing of like lifestyle inflation, right? So, you know, like maybe like 2 years ago, or when you're in varsity, you know, you could live on like this little bit of money every month, and you like drink the cheap quarts, and you get by, and you have a great time, right? And then 3 years later, you've got a job, and now you only drink the expensive cocktails, and you only buy clothes that are a bit nicer, you live in a nice flat, you drive a nice car, all of a sudden you need like medical aid and insurance, and like you're not happier, your life is much more expensive. So you have to like get into the habit of saving from as early as you can. And think about saving not as something that you do at the end of the month either. So there's this thing of like, you don't save what's left after you're done spending, you spend what's left after you're done saving. Because I know it always feels like you can't afford to save right now.
Because I can't.
I know, I feel you, but the truth is you can't afford not to save, because it's an opportunity cost. Because every 1,000 Rand, even if it's only 100 Rand that you're not saving now, what that's worth to you in 40 years is a huge pile of money. And that's money that you're wasting all the time. So it's so important to think about that, I think, and to like think that long-term game. And like, honestly, like, anything is better than nothing. So if what you can find, I promise you, I've never spoken to someone where we've looked at their budget and we've not been able to free up at least 1,000 Rand, right? From things that you won't even really miss. Like, you can, if it just takes discipline to sit down, decide you're gonna free up some money. But like, whatever it is, you just need to start, and rather start early and then get into the habits. So have you guys heard of this idea of like riskiness, like high risk investments, low risk investments? So the financial services industry has done this really stupid thing, because they talk about high risk investments, and every sensible person is like, I do not want my money in something high risk. That sounds like it's dangerous. No. Actually, like, risk, when we're talking about it, like money, actually is like a technical term. And basically the rule of thumb is, the longer the time period is that you're saving money, the higher risk you want. Because the higher the risk, the higher the growth, right? Generally. So it all depends where you should save your money, all depends on what it's for. Okay, so generally the first sort of savings I think that most people should try to do is to have an emergency fund. So that's typically like 3 months expenses, and it's because shit happens in your life. And it's for all of those things that, like, your car breaks down, you can't get to work, your phone breaks, you can't live your life, like whatever it is, those real emergencies, not the like, oh my god, Superbly is having a sale, real life emergencies, right? So I think that's the first thing to save for. Don't overthink it. Put it in a savings account wherever your bank is. Like, the interest rate on those accounts tends to vary between like 4.5% to 7% on the way up end, but it shouldn't be growth money. That money is just there for emergencies, and it's rather something you want to be able to access in an emergency, right? Don't overthink it, just there. But that's typically should be your first goal, right? Build up a nice safety net for yourself, give you much more peace of mind, you'll sleep better at night, okay? Once you've done that, the next thing to maybe start thinking about, I would say, is your retirement. So that's that long game, thinking about the power of compound interest, getting that to work in your favor, right? Now with that, you want to put it in a special retirement account, and that's because it's these great tax benefits for it. So you immediately get like a huge growth thing, because you're not paying tax on that money. And you could be normally paying like 20-30% on tax, right? So you are actually paying tax on that money, but you're paying deferred tax, which means when you pull it out when you're old, then you pay the tax benefit, but it'll be low. Anyway, so you're saving money on taxes. So what you want to do with that money is you want to go find the highest risk account you can find, investments, that is a retirement account, and you want to find an account that has the lowest fees you can find. Because 1% fees doesn't sound like a lot, but fees compound just the same way that your money does, and people don't think about this. So often, like a 2 or 3% fee-based retirement account can end up taking 2/3 of your growth. And people don't think about this. Fees are like, it's a nightmare, so be very careful. In the industry, there are crooks, a lot of them, and they don't make this clear because they don't want you to know. So look for a retirement account that has low fees, is at a reputable real company that is likely to still be there when you retire, and is high risk. You want something that is like lots of equities. That means you're buying pieces of businesses, so equities are, and preferably global equities as well, like as much of it as you can, because the rand, we all know what the rand likes to do, so you know. So that would be the second thing that I would look at saving it, right? Now, for everything else in the middle, once you've got those two things sorted, then it depends on the timeline, basically. So if you're saving for something that you want more than 5 years out. So say one day you want to be able to retire early, or you want to be able to buy a house or something like that, but it's more than 5 years, again, put it in a very high risk investment. That's something like shares, right? And again, this isn't complicated. You can start buying a really good share portfolio for 300 Rand a month in this country. That's it, 300 bucks. Just go to a site like Easy Equities, look for something that is a low fee ETF. That means like, it's basically like a basket. You're buying the whole of the equities market. It means you're buying a tiny, tiny piece of South Africa's biggest companies. It's a great way to invest. Historically, it's outperformed property by miles. It's outperformed almost any other kind of investment, and you get really low fees on that. So just go look at like a high risk investment product. That's 5 years out. Between like 3 to 5 years, you want to look at like a mixed fund. So you want something that has equities, but also has maybe something like bonds or cash or like money market or something like. So you look for something called a moderate risk fund. And if you want something within like 1 to 2 years, you look at a very low risk blended fund. Or you would put it in something called a money market fund. All of these names, like you can go look up what they mean, like, but don't get too caught up in all of the finance bros jargon. It doesn't matter. Like general rule of thumb, just like the sooner you need the money, you want to look for a lower risk product. You always want to look at the lowest fees you can find, and then otherwise just look for a reputable organization. And if you're stuck with this kind of thing, there are places where you can get good advice, and just go talk to someone who can give you good advice. Don't talk to the people who are trying to sell you the product. They are not going to give you the right advice.
Guys, this is critical.
Jeez,
and it makes sense.
Yes,
Like it makes so much sense.
Okay.
I'm like,
Okay, good.
I want to start saving now.
Tomorrow.
I'm buying stocks tomorrow.
I'm buying a stock on payday. Then I'm buying shares.
That's a good meal.
I'm buying.
You're saving a good meal.
No,
at a good restaurant, and you're buying shares.
I'm gonna do that now. I literally.
If that's all I've achieved today, I've had